Good morning. The committee will come to order. The subject of challenges and opportunities in oil and gas development under different price environments is certainly one of national significance. A lot of discussion in the news now about what these low oil prices mean for us as a nation, and truly given the geopolitics of oil. But it has impact certainly for our security, for our economy, and for the environment itself. Special thank you to our witnesses today, all of whom have agreed to testify last week, but you were bumped, and we apologize for that. But we don't apologize that we were able to get the energy bill to the floor, so we're sorry for any inconvenience, but hope that you find some comfort in the fact that you were moved off to the sidelines for a very important legislative priority here. It allowed the first significant energy reform package to clear the Senate in nearly a decade, and I think the committee is proud of that, and I thank my colleagues all for their support in making that happen. Oil and gas prices are low today, but I think we all recognize they're not going to be low forever. They come and they go. In fact, the only way that drawdowns from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve fill revenue gaps on paper is because CBO assumes price levels in the future to double to perhaps $80 or more from today's level, hanging around $40 a barrel. Oil and gas production is heavily capital intensive. It takes a long time for these projects to come online. The Energy Information Administration, for example, and we were just speaking about this when I came in, estimates that the development in the non-wilderness portion of ANWR would take 8 to 12 years after legislation is enacted to open up the 1002 area for exploration and production. I joined the Alaska State Legislature at a time when oil was at $9 a barrel. And for an oil-producing state, that was a pretty tough reality for us. We were debating, as we were looking at legislative issues, we were actually debating whether or not we had enough funding within the state's budget to provide for bullets for the state troopers as they go out to provide for a level of safety. We had some really tough decisions to make. And yet our executive and legislative branches at the time, they were controlled by Democrats and Republicans, so it was not all tilted in favor of one party. But they all worked diligently to ensure that our public policy remained attractive to resource development, because we are a resource development state, so we needed to be able to attract resource investment. I think that that should be part of our goal, to ensure that America remains an attractive place to produce the resources that we need and will use right here at home. And when you look at our energy mix, that means that we need to provide new access, we need to establish reasonable systems for leasing and development, we need to reform what is often an overly cumbersome permitting process. Right now, we do not have that system at the federal level, but with policy improvements, I think you can get there. And I think that we should be tackling this right now, not the next time that oil is sitting at $100 a barrel or even more. So today I'm pleased to announce to my colleagues, and you should be receiving a copy, but we have launched a new series of white papers. For those of you that have been on the committee for some time, you know that we like to provide you with these thoughtful, insightful papers about major initiatives in the energy space that we have been focused on. But we take a pretty rigorous analysis. We build the case. We built the case for oil exports. We built the case with the Energy 2020 that we had released at the start of 2013. But we've moved through a series of other initiatives where, again, we just kind of lay forth the efforts that we're focusing on. So it was the efforts to expedite LNG exports, again, lift the ban on oil exports. These were all supported by a series of staff reports on condensate, on cross-border swaps, and much else that we actually saw got adopted by the administration. So today I've got a new report out there, a new white paper. We're calling it the Alaska Exception, Energy and the Frontier, and it is the first in a series that we are entitling Alaska First in Energy. And what we have done in this white paper, and it's not very long, so I would commend it to you all, but it details the various special exceptions that have been made for the state of Alaska, not because we are so special, other than the fact that we believe that we are pretty special, but we're special because of our resources. And we have seen exceptions made over the years on LNG, on the renewable fuel standards, crude oil, FERC, and then our signature achievement, which is the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. So as I lay out more of these, I'll be sure to give you all a heads up, but as we think about the role that a state like Alaska can play, or really any of our energy-producing states, I think we recognize that there is a time that is required to put infrastructure in place to allow for exploration and production to move forward. So while some are panicked at the notion that we're sitting at low oil prices and have been for some period of time and are suggesting that we should not be looking to make longer-term investment, I'm looking at it and taking the exact opposite view. So I'll be interested in hearing from our panelists this morning in terms of your thoughts and your comments in this vein. With that, I'm going to turn to Senator Heinrich, who is standing in this morning for the ranking member, Senator Cantwell. Senator Heinrich, I appreciate your leadership on this panel at all times, but I also want to particularly thank you for your help with the Energy Policy Modernization Act and the sportsman's provisions that we were able to include in that. So thank you for that, and we look forward to your comments.